welcome to this week's MOTO Show.
Well, I'm going to do the wave.
Are you going to do the wave?
We've got the wave.
Okay, we'll do the wave.
The wave.
As you can see, I've got no hat on today, but
I know.
I've got a dig in my head.
I think we're using the same hairdresser here as well. This is gonna look bad. I bought a spare shirt because I knew you'd shaved your head yesterday. And I thought, now if I wear a check shirt and you've got a check shirt on, it is going to look like we're on the way to a San Francisco line dance. So there is a spare shirt just in case we clashed.
Yes.
Anyway. They never show people shaving their heads on racer adverts, do they? Why is that?
Because obviously
it's for a youth market, I guess.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Old giffers like ourselves.
Yeah. Well, speak for yourself. Anyway, good week. There's been plenty going on, and obviously this week we'll be mostly talking the Dirt Bike Show, which takes place starts on Thursday.
If it's not overtaken by Hurricane St. Jude or whatever it is, which is meant to be going on today. Bit of an anticlimax today, wasn't it, really?
Not a lot was happening with that, no.
I did notice you tweeted some leaves had moved around in your garden.
Yeah. So it was. I think they had to be safe and sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's been lashing down today, hasn't it, really? Yeah. But I think everything will go ahead according to plan, to be honest.
I got a mouse on there, so I can sneakily change what's on the screen.
It's very nice.
Yeah,
sneaky. I have a mouse on the sofa. So don't Google that. I think that might be something odd.
So have you been riding?
No, have I ever? No, not
flat out. No,
not at all. Well, I moved my days off, so I work Sunday, and I'm working all the way through till this Thursday. So I've got 9 days on the bounce. So not good at all. I'm going to be knackered by the time I get to Stoneleigh on Friday. But I'm looking forward to the moto party, it must be said.
Yeah, the moto party.
And the glittering dinner. I have my tuxedo ready.
Are you invited?
Yeah, I'm bloody invited myself. I've got a white tuxedo ordered and everything like that.
Double check on that.
Yeah?
So I don't think your name's on the list.
Easy now.
I'd say, honestly, I don't think it is.
Well, I'll serve the drinks then.
The waiter.
How dare you? How very dare you? If I'm not on that list.
Honestly, I don't think you are.
Well.
When you mentioned it the other day, I went, oh.
What, and you've done nothing about it?
No.
I'd have to see what Trail Bike magazine are doing. You know?
Yeah.
See what the other titles can offer.
Anyway, so plenty of news. It's been a pretty busy couple of weeks. Well, last week since the show. Obviously, Elliot was here last week. He's no longer with us. He's gone.
Yeah, a bit more room on here, really.
Yeah.
You did sort the microphone thing, didn't you, really?
We've got a third microphone now. We're also probably going to change the set again. We're looking at going to more of a stood-up bar type scenario rather than the sofa because I like standing up. So.
Well, and you don't like this sofa now, do you? What if you've actually sat on this if you don't like it?
No, it's not very comfortable. So, yeah, plus I got to bury all that rubbish at the end.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Which is normally behind
It's been obscured by my wet bike gear, hasn't it?
Yeah, really? Yeah. Okay, first thing then, congratulations to Sam Sunderland for winning the rally in Morocco.
Now, he is touch ugly. You wouldn't have heard of him, would you, really?
No.
To come in.
No. I've known him from years, so...
Well, yeah, obviously your finger on the pulse of desert rally racing from your years in the desert. Right, okay, well...
Yeah.
I don't know the guy, and it's really, really good. He's actually come in there. He's actually stormed it, and doesn't that bike look fantastic?
The Honda's a good bike, good rally bike.
Yeah,
you can see there. They did the rally before this one, and then the Morocco one for this one, and then it's the Dakar. Then 100% towards the Dakar.
Yeah. And it's good to have somebody that's going to offer some serious competition to KTM. KTM have been winning so long at it, and competition makes everybody do better at it.
It's slightly different though, this rally stuff, isn't it? It's not like the shorter desert racing. It's a week of.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a head game thing. You've got to really strategize it. Actually, what they did on this thing, which a colleague was saying about, a bit like with you, if you go to watch a marathon, the people get chipped, and you can follow them around course on an app on your phone. Okay. Same thing went for the guys in the rally because a few friends were riding it, and you could follow their progress on the map. So he saw one of his mates who the stage went in a loop round there, and you could see his mate disappearing sideways at an angle 30 miles an hour that way, obviously realised he's going the wrong way, and then doing 150 miles an hour back to get on things. So you could actually see it live online where all the various people are.
Yeah,
really clever, amazing thing. So, but yeah, you're riding all day, absolutely flat out. You've got to work out, then you get up in the morning, sort of 5 o'clock in the morning, do your pit stops. So the guys that do it, I mean, it's super hard riding. The guys have been doing it,
I'd say.
winning year after year, like Desprez and Coma and things like that. Really superb. And Dakar this year will be interesting because, of course, Desprez's gone.
Can you remember the original Dakar when it was the Dakar of Paris to Dakar?
Yeah, and
obviously the promoter at the time, I can't remember the French guy, wasn't it? He died and crashed his helicopter, wasn't it? Yeah. This is going back a fair old few years.
Yeah, and Gaston Raya, who used to be the 125,
That's right,
125 Suzuki Championship, he rode for BMWs, and you think riding BMWs, the big boxer twins on sand, flat out, and Raya was a tiny little guy. If you Google any pictures of him on the Suzuki, he was tiny. So motoring that around, that is really sort of double hard compared with what they've got now with the satellites and the road book and the coverage and the helicopters going over the top. They were just disappearing out, and if they came back, all well and good. If not, they're somewhere in the desert. So,
okay, well, congrats to Honda and Sam, especially Sam Sunderland and Brit abroad and all that sort of stuff, because he lives in Dubai now.
Yeah,
but bases himself in Dubai.
He does come up with something there. You saw the videos of him riding in the desert. I was lucky enough to go to Morocco and ride over there, and it is just fantastic. A lot of the guys over the winter go training to California and motocross schools, and that's fine. But a motocross track is a motocross track wherever you put it. If you fancy doing something really interesting on riding over the winter, look at some of the Moroccan tours, because that is just superb. It's a wonderful country to visit. It's so strange. It's like it's like riding a dirt bike in the Bible, because you drive out of Marrakesh, which is all bustling markets and things, and you go outside, and there's people with donkey carts getting waters from the well and stuff like that, and you're blatting through. Really amazing.
Talking of donkeys.
Don't do any video links, please.
Ben, he didn't come.
Nice link.
Do you know what is the reason we call him? I thought when you said the word donkey. We were in. Where were we? In Italy.
Yes, it's nothing related to dimensions, let's be sure.
Yeah, no. Ben's got this habit of ordering the most obscure food on the menu when we're away. And we were in Italy, I think it was Italy, and he ordered donkey, and it's just so strange. And he said it was lovely, and you can tell he wasn't enjoying it.
Wasn't it like donkey pasta, donkey ragu? He had,
donkey ragu, yeah.
And just the name itself just sounds awful, doesn't it? Really? Why would you want to eat a donkey? There are so many things in the world to eat before nibbling on a donkey.
Well, I did it. There's a picture I put on Instagram a couple of years ago. I think me and Ben were abroad, and all I could read on the menu was potato. I thought, okay, fish, and it was fish and potato. I thought it was fish and potato. Similar fish pie. What come out? This massive octopus, on top of the potato.
Oh,
it was. See,
I quite like octopus, but it needs to be cut up. No.
It had. I'll put a picture up now, and it was. I got through it though. I did it.
Just imagine these tentacles around
your
head while you're trying to eat it.
You know, when you're swallowing it, you can actually. It was just. I was thinking. Captain Nemo and all sorts.
You join us on the food show.
Okay, more news. Husky UK, the team's been announced. Evotech KTM now become Husqvarna UK.
Yeah, and although Evotech is still involved, they've changed the name, so I think it's like Dantec or something like that.
Dantec, yeah, UK or something or other.
So they got Nathan Watson on there, so he went really strong at the end of the season, and Lenoir. Between the two of them, they got a really strong team and a good chance this year. The bike's going to be good. It's a really strong team.
Husqvarna UK.
Yeah,
which is look at the team. Looking at the team they've got. Stephen Lenoir, as you say, Lenoir, and there's Nathan Watson as well. Yeah,
it's a strong team. They'll do very well at that. The bikes are going to be good. There's Sean Sisterson, who's sort of heading up jointly between KTM and Husqvarna there.
Yeah.
Neutrally, not in either colours. I noticed on the picture, but he'll be wanting good success from the Husqvarna teams, and I think they're going to come in strong. A lot of people will be looking at them at the dirt bike show, and they do look cracking bikes.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
they are good. So it'll be interesting to see for them next year and how their sort of graphics and team colours and how they're all set up.
There was a picture, and I think you can do a link to it. The Moto X put a picture of one of the Husqvarna team bikes on there. Just looks superb. Our German magazine had some pictures up there, so they look great to start off with. Graphics up, they are going to be the dogs.
Okay. Well, as I said, it'd be good to see those guys at the beginning of next year when we first round the Maxes and stuff. Ricky Carmichael inducted to the
Yeah, we briefly mentioned it.
I'm shocked.
Last
I'm amazed he's not in there already.
I know, it's ridiculous, actually. It's taken but they do take a while to do it. It's a bit like they're canonising popes or something like that. They leave it a while. But he's so obviously, he was just superb. And we've talked about it before, that just how good a rider you need to be to do undefeated seasons. Cairoli's a multiple champion. He hasn't done a season winning all the time. And then Everts, he won by a combination of skill and points and all kinds of things. Yes, he's got the most titles, but he didn't do it in any way like Carmichael did it. Carmichael in his prime was just absolutely superb, and to knock out leading every lap of a nationals in a year, just astounding. And you'd say people get injuries and he was lucky or whatever. It's one of those things. I think it's an Arnold Palmer quote from the golfing world that the more I practice, the luckier I get. It's not luck, it's actual skill, and he deserved to be up there, because if you were lucky enough to see him when he was racing,
prime,
just
awesome.
Superb.
I remember seeing him at 98 and then Nations, the wet one. I stayed for the Saturday. I took my nephew at the time. And he was only a real little kid, I think. I can't remember. But we went there at 98, and it was peeing down. And
what was it? 98? Was that an A?
No.
Oh.
Fox Hills.
Oh right. Oh no.
Yeah, we stayed there. Stayed there for the day, and we didn't go back on Saturday because it was so wet. But yeah, he was fast then on a 125 Kawasaki, as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what we're going to do now, we'll run that the video they played at the award ceremony, and also we'll run his speech as well, what he obviously thanking everyone after. So we'll be back in a sec.
You have got to see this Carmichael kid ride the 60 class.
Watch Carmichael. He had a taste of that #1 position, and he just jumped his way right back into it.
There's this kid, you just wouldn't believe it. Carmichael.
Who do I have to hire? Who? Why? He's fast.
Look at how tough the youngster is, 17 years old.
I'm like, dude, this guy's really good. And they're like, we told you he's good. You need to watch this kid.
I said, okay, well, what's his name? Ricky Carmichael's his name.
Well, go out and practice, try to find good lines, watch races, win, then I get more attention, and eventually I keep going real good, and then hopefully I win every moto I race. Moto I race.
Win every moto. Ricky Carmichael did a lot of that in 1992, and in 1994, 1995, 1996, and in 1997 as a full-time professional, he still won nearly every single moto. Ricky Carmichael may have actually hated losing more than he loved winning, and that determination is the reason why his own peers nicknamed him the GOAT, greatest of all time.
The Checkers, his very first 250 Supercross victory.
He takes the undisputed lead in points for the first time in his career.
Ricky Carmichael, the 250 champion.
A perfect season, closing in on his 24th moto win in a row.
Ricky Carmichael, and a record 5th win here at Daytona.
Undefeated for 10 consecutive seasons. Carmichael has lapped the entire field.
He just lapped second place.
What an athlete, what a rider, what a champion, what a winner.
Ricky Carmichael!
No rider in the history of this sport has frustrated the field as much as Ricky Carmichael. He beat the best.
Everybody's on their feet. Bar to bar we go again. Will we have another classic battle here in Anaheim?
And no matter how rough the conditions or how tough the competition, Carmichael was always up to the test. Inside goes Carmichael again to take the lead, but not for long. And he does it again, side by side, pushes Stewart out off the edge of the track. Carmichael kept his training program closely guarded, but he laughed when asked what his secret was. The answer was always, there are no secrets. Whatever he had or did, he always made sure that it was much more than anyone else.
This is Ricky Carmichael, right?
Desire. I mean, A lot of people have it, but man, that kid absolutely hated to lose.
Simplicity. He keeps it simple. He practices hard, he trains hard, and he rides hard.
Even when things looked that they were going to be very difficult, you know, he was always able to raise the level to what it needed to be to be in front.
I think a lot was his work ethic. You know, from the time he was 8 years old, and you know, and you've got to credit a lot of that work ethic to both Meanie Jeannie and Big Rick.
Of the two of us, if he got it from anybody, Holly gets that determination from him.
Hey, well, I'm going to say she gets from her, ain't me.
What I think makes him so special, and it's something that not many riders, I think, hold on to, is he remembers where he came from.
I mean, that kid wanted to ride all the time. And, you know, there's stories about him and his mom going out to practice, and he would start off the day with a 5-gallon jug of fuel, and they weren't done running until that jug of fuel was gone. He wanted to win every single time he got on the bike by 35 seconds.
To me, doing all this hard work isn't worth it if I'm not going to win. If I don't win, I don't know how I didn't win, because I worked harder than anybody.
Carmichael finished first more than any other position. His 150 combined Premier Class victories yielded 10 consecutive Pro Motocross championships and 5 Supercross titles. Although he was stingy about sharing the top of the podium, he wasn't a selfish sportsman. If Team USA needed him at the Motocross of Nations, he was available. Today, he is still giving back to his sport. With Ricky Carmichael University Riding Schools, he passes along his skills. And in 2013, he partnered with freestyle legend Carey Hart to form RCH Racing, a factory-supported racing team.
He's a very genuine individual, very humble. If you met Ricky on the street corner, you'd never know that what he's accomplished, and he's certainly not going to tell you. But he's a very humble champion all the way along. And he always recognized the people that helped him along the way. And I would say he's been a great representative of the sport.
For his domination on the racetrack and his continued work off it, the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame welcomes Ricky Carmichael.
Okay, we're back.
Nice video.
It was a nice video. Yeah, he's, as I said, it's amazing that he wasn't actually put into the Hall of Fame before, but it must be for some, I don't know, for the whatever reason.
I think the Americans do well of actually recognising their heroes and doing things like that. I can't think of an equivalent thing in the UK. I mean, is there any such get-together that actually says, you know, the contribution people have made or anything like that? Is there an English Hall of Fame?
Well, we're having our editor's dinner this week that you're not invited to.
You're introducing the Editors Hall of Fame, are you?
Yeah, that's me, Ben, Donkey Ben. Actually, Ben was supposed to be in here today, but I said not to bother.
Oh, he's going to be upset again now.
Upset.
And he got a mic for him as well.
I've got a mic.
Yeah,
got a mic
mine's
for
a
him.
long way to come for an hour chat.
We'll do something at the show with him. Make it up to him.
Yeah, I think we're going to do some live stuff from the show.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after. We'll talk about that. But
sorry.
I'm just saying. I'm only saying.
Well, I was only
these
saying.
lights, I can feel it on my head.
Well, that's because you've normally got your cloth cap on.
Yeah, my little cap. But yeah. So Ricky Carmichael, congrats back into the AMA Hall of Fame, and I would imagine there'll be a fair old few riders doing the same next year as well.
Yeah.
Or do they put just one a year? Taking forever, wouldn't it?
I think that's probably why it's taken a while. It's probably like he's on the list.
Yeah.
Carmichael's saying, "Well, hang on, come on."
Yeah. Strange, but there we go. British next year, we're looking at the British Youth Nationals, which is a 5-round series, ACU's official British Championship for the Nippers.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's going to be
some great racing this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be really good, to be honest. They got there are a few different tracks and really good tracks. It's championship tracks at the end of the day, because you know there's times when unfortunately, certain championships go to these obscure non-motocross tracks as such, but for whatever reason, for costs or whatever. But
so what's on the list then?
So the championship itself, the youth championship starts, the BYN starts in April, and it kicks off at Fat Cats. It's probably the safest option to even in April. You know, it's
it's hard work though, isn't it?
It's
hard work.
It's hard work, but I went there last year with the youth nationals, and it was the hottest day of the year. It was insane, and the kids coped really well. But the track then it sort of baked a little bit.
Yeah.
It become less.
But, I mean, it is that one that you've got to be up in your game for the first one in the series, because the first one is sand tracks. You know, they are draining for the little bikes and for the little guys. So you know, that one. Let's hope it's good weather for it.
Yeah, Milton Mauser second in May, which is it. To be honest with you, I don't mind Milton Mauser, and it's probably a better youth track than it is a Maxis track.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, definitely. So. I just hope they take the posts out.
Yeah, they don't seem to be getting our hint on that, really.
No, they're not getting it.
I think we're gonna have to sort of
put a thing across the screen.
Well, you're doing some stickers, aren't you?
Yeah.
No more white posts.
No more white posts.
Yeah.
Get t-shirts done.
Definitely.
No more white posts. Third round, Cullum. I like Cullum.
Yeah. Well, that's
fast
back. That's in for Maxis as well, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a good track, good fast track, and as I said, a lovely venue down in the River Thames. Have you been there?
No, I haven't. You all talking about it, and it was all jumpers for goalposts, and we were jumping in the river and washing each other down and that kind of thing.
What, soaping each other up?
I think that's what Elliot said, wouldn't it? Something like that. He was soaping down his mates in the river or something like that.
Yeah, Elliot
it was a lovely
his mates
time.
up.
No girls, anything, just boys together.
Oh.
I think that's the gist of what he said.
Yeah,
I'm not so keen to go now, to be honest.
Actually, I might give that a miss. I'm away that weekend.
In Amsterdam or San Francisco.
Soaping each other up in the River Thames. And there goes David Walliams.
No, he'd be straight in there. It's not good for fish, the soap, I don't think, as well.
No. Most swans suffer a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, fourth round is at Brookthorpe, which is local to us, definitely. Again, it's a really good youth track. And I've been there over the years for forever and a day, and we've always had good fun. A little bit dusty when it's really hot, but when it's about right, it's a good track.
Yep.
Fast, real fast, hard pack. And then the last one, which is great to see, to be fair, it's a British Championship at the end of the day, and that's travelling back to Scotland for the last round.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is Scottish guys wanted the championship back up there. There's a lot of youth guys up there. And it's good to see that the Gareth and the ACU decided to take it back to Scotland.
Yeah, because we talked about whether the Maxis would ever go back to Scotland, and of course the problem with that, there were some crowd problems, weren't there, in the evenings, which ruled out the visit up there.
Well reported on, but there was at the end of the day there was a few issues. I don't think that's the reason why it hasn't gone back.
But,
I don't think it was the busiest event of the year.
It does push up the costs for the guys from up there to come down and compete.
Yeah, well, Brian McKenzie, I was speaking to Brian, week in, week out, and fair play to that guy and other riders from Scotland and Ireland as well. It cost them a fortune to travel.
Yeah.
And we complain about going down to Cornwall or Devon or up to Hawkston Park or whatever,
and particularly to Ling.
To Ling, which is a fair old. Well,
I'm so pleased I couldn't make it this year.
Elliot, travel all the way down from sort of that area last week to here.
Yeah, and he was going to drive back. He was obviously in the last week, and you would have seen the pictures. We went for curries with Elliot last week when we were there, and he was going to drive back across the other side. I think he only went as far as a mate's in Worcester, didn't he?
Yeah,
which I think he was, which was going really.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah, it's
top
a lot.
curry though.
Top curry.
Thank you very much.
I think he enjoyed that curry.
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't the fowl. He didn't have a fowl. You're pointing at the fowl.
Somebody asked me, what curry did Elliot have? He had a fowl.
But he was quite pleased. Actually, now he's going to the MX1 bike. He could actually afford to be in
he was chatting about
meals.
Weight and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's been Sparrow light for a while, hasn't he?
He's been very skinny this year, I must admit. But
start of the year, he'll be like Ken Dyker.
Ken's a big guy. Interesting fact about the British Youth Nationals next year, because obviously it is the official British Championship. It's the only way you'll get, if you need to race this event, the only way you'll get selected to race European rounds and the world rounds at junior level.
Right.
Which is correct. It's a national championship. It's the British Championship.
Yeah.
That's the way. So if you're interested about racing the European Championships in 2014 and maybe the World Junior Round, or you want to be selected or whatever, you need to race the British Youth Nationals, which is right because you're supporting the British Championship at the end of the day.
And it's nice to clarify because it sometimes with other series it can muddy the water.
Yeah.
So if the ACU are putting behind one particular series and that's what you need to get in there, that's the one that's going to give you the springboard up to the next level. Yeah. To compete on the European thing.
And us as a magazine, we're going to there's some news about the British Youth Nationals on Friday, which will do a piece on our show from the Dirt Bike Show. So it'll be interesting. There's some good stuff coming out from the show, all round, and interesting stuff. But did you ever race the British Championship as a kid? Because what was it called then? The ACU Nationals?
I did a number of them. I remember racing one at Newent at about the sort of time that Kurt Nickel was in the Experts. I remember seeing him jumping down hills when all of us were rolling down the hills and he was jumping on the line on the bottom. I did one over at Frosterway. There seemed to be a lot of them around, but I did ride in British Championships, and I did kind of okay on it. Really made it through to qualifying on the second day, but never really was particularly threatening. I think my brother was a little bit faster than me, but then he seemed to be less frightened about hurting himself. I seemed to have a little bit more of imagination of what would happen when I came off, and hence I was happy where I was. I think that the riders with talent don't think about that sort of thing.
No, you want to keep that out of your mind, I suppose, when you're at 14,
I was just thinking, I'm fast enough. That's fine. He wants. It's a bit like with rugby. I didn't really want to have the ball really because.
Take the ball. I don't want it.
Well, yeah, that was it. All the people running towards you. You run.
Was it like a bar of soap?
Well, no. It's one of those things with rugby. I'd be on their pitch if I got given the ball. It was by terror that I'd given the ball. And on the pitch, there's 29 other people who seem to want it more than me. Well, really, you have it. You're so much more bothered.
Yeah,
now you're a rugby player.
Yeah.
That's not the spirit of it, really.
No, you get no.
No, but you just throw it away. Away.
You wouldn't do that. See, you wouldn't do that.
No. Again, my brother, much more sport, he keep hold of thing. I'd be pummeled for the bloody thing.
Yeah. Give us the ball. No.
No. I was in the under-10s team, though. My dad offered me a $5 to get in the team. So I got in the team. But I really quite like the teas after the match.
Tea?
Yeah, you travel to another school.
Yeah.
Orange at half-time and then the tea afterwards.
Yeah.
But that was the best part of the game.
Well, you went to all-boys school, didn't you?
Yeah, no, don't go on.
No, I'm just saying, I went to an all-boys school and it was, we did actually do tea.
Yeah.
It was tea.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Going to have it afterwards. And that was the best part of it, being pummeled on the field. I used to wear a scrum cap when I was 10.
Did you?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, I used to hate having my ears rubbed all over the bloody place. I did look like one of those, the kids sometimes have a brace attached to a hat. It was that type of scum cap. I mean, there at 10, I must have been 4 foot nothing.
Oh,
I've got this thing on my head. I'm not the natural athlete, I have to admit.
No. I've said to you many a time, you fancy coming for a mountain bike ride, and you're just like, nah.
You haven't said
I have. I've said to come at Ashton Court, and you've said no.
Is the pedal back on yours?
Yeah, it fell off.
When you got 100 yards? That thing has got more dust on it than bloody Terry Wade's bike. When was the last time you rode it?
When the pedal fell off.
Yeah. What year was that?
2012. The beginning
2009.
No, it was the beginning of 2012. It was Christmas, and I'll go for a ride.
I'm absolutely positive you have not invited me out for a mountain bike ride.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
All right.
Throw down the challenge. When?
Well, you haven't got a bike.
Of course I have.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
You lie.
I have.
You sure?
I've got one for my birthday.
Well, a mountain bike?
Yeah.
Not one of those sort of Holford specials, 50 quid?
No. I got a diamond back.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, fair
Get
enough.
you. Yeah. And I bought it. I didn't give it as a freebie like yourself.
Okay, we've got some fan questions to answer.
Yes, some good.
And there's some good ones actually. There's 3 particular that were really good. There was one that I received, and there seemed to be a lot of swearing on it, so I missed that one off.
No. Was that Ben?
Yeah. No,
don't you talk about me this week?
There just seems to be a hell of a lot of swearing. I don't know why. It was like... So I thought, whoever sent that, well, we know who you are. Thanks very much. I'll see you at the show.
Yeah. Jeff Pottymouth.
Yeah, Jeff Pottymouth. Right, so the first question is from a guy called James Farrell. It was an interesting question. Is there a GPS tracking device that can be put on your bike to help you find it if stolen? Also, So we'll start with that one first of all.
Okay.
You managed to get an answer.
Well, I got an answer straight away on that because I know Dave Plummer, who works for Data Tool. Had a chat to him on the phone, and he said, well, yeah, there actually is. So he came back to me straight away with an email, so we can give you the information. Anything with a 12-volt battery, you can offer a Data Tool Track King GPS GCM tracking system. So if you've got a KTM or anything with an electric start or an enduro bike, yes, you can have a tracking system. They've got one on trial with a journalist on a BMW 450. It works well. The only issue, it doesn't have an ignition key, so they fit some electrical device that basically just check when you would take the pin out of it of this thing, then it arms it. Basically, once you've taken the pin out, the system's armed. If anybody moves it at all within a certain area, it sends a text to your phone to say somebody's messing with your bike. If it goes out of a GPS area, which is a very small area, again, it'll send you a text of saying somebody's got your bike. You go straight to the police, and the police can find it on the system. So it is there. You can do it on bikes. It is restricted to bikes that have a battery system because obviously it needs to.
So motocross bikes, unless you're electric start, then.
Yeah, but electric start motocross, you can fit one to it. The would-be thieves
So
won't know
what
it's there.
electric bikes are out there? KTM, obviously. It'll be Husqvarna.
And Husqvarna.
Kawasaki?
No, because all the Japanese bikes have shied away from having the electric start. So it is going to be those, and obviously all the enduro bikes have got them on there. So you can have that. Leave your bike in the garage. You make this electrical connection on it. Then you pull that out. It's armed. Anybody messes around with it, it takes your phone. After that, if it moves again, you're going to know about it. You can phone the police. Interestingly, which is really impressive, the fastest recovery to date has just been 14 minutes from the alert going to the bike being secured by the police. That was an R1 taken from a London hospital. So 14 minutes.
Okay, well, we'll put the web address on the bottom here, and you can contact those guys. And so if you've got electric start or a battery-operated bike or whatever, a bike with a battery on, then it'll be worth. But unfortunately, there's nothing for motocross, is there?
Not really. You need a power source. That's the thing. At the end of the day, you're making your bike into a transmitter, and it'll scream when it's being moved.
Okay, that's a good question. That James, real good. Also, James also asked about tyre pressure. Can air leak from tubes, even if they're new on a new bike after riding? Checking tyre pressures on after motors and are always lower. So basically,
well, I'd say on that one. Actually, at the end of a motor, your tyres will be warm and the pressure should be higher. If any of you did physics like that, as the temperature goes up, the volume stays the same, but the temperature goes up, hence the pressure goes up. So actually, they should be hotter at the end of a motor, and hence the pressure should be higher. If they've gone down, then there is a leak.
Problem,
It probably means it's probably coming from the valve.
Valve,
so realistically, you should check your valve. Must be said, an awful lot of the teams now will be running with mooses.
You don't get a leak.
And you don't get a leak with a moose.
Because there'll be a lot of people, there's a lot of riders, to be perfectly honest, who probably have never seen a moose, don't know what it is.
Yep.
So explain what a moose is.
Well, a moose is like a foam inner tube. It's black. It looks like an inflated inner tube. It goes straight into your tyre. Interestingly, we were at the last round of the Maxis talking to the Elliott's mechanics, and they didn't have any hold down bolts on that. And they said, for motocross, you don't need it. They're harder to fit, but it basically means you will not get a puncture. You won't lose a moto for it. Now,
unless you're Tommy. In Latvia.
Yeah, or Porcel probably lost one in there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, most people will think it's worthwhile changing your pressures according to conditions. Now, that's something that Gary Finch said about. He said, you don't mess with pressures. It doesn't make that much of a difference. You just set the pressures and leave it at that. So that's why mooses actually just go in. You put them in once. They do deteriorate over a period of time, but they're about 80 quid-ish to buy. But if you're racing for a weekend,
they do feel different when you're riding as well.
Yeah, but they'll equate to a pressure roughly that you would be working at anyway. So round about sort of 12ish at the back, 14 at the front, and you can make them soft if you're really into it. You can make them softer by drilling holes into them and stuff like that. But for the most part, you put them in and you forget about it. Certainly for enduro riders and you're doing long distance enduro, it makes so much sense because you can be in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't change a puncture.
Or if somebody's concerned about riding at a rocky track or whatever.
Yeah.
Might be worth looking at mooses. But there you go. So basically, if your tyre's leaking or there's less pressure in after you finished a race or a motor or a practice session, there's probably an issue with the valve or something like that.
Yeah.
So you need to take it to a shop or check out yourself. Second question from Fred Manning Morton. Which World Motocross Championship team has had the most wins over the MX1 and MX2 classes? Now, we're basing it on this season, so I contacted Ustream, and we've all come to the same conclusion, so it looks like KTM.
Yeah, no, I when I read it, I thought they meant actually in general in whole. So I did actually go on to... So I got it all printed out. And the difficulty is, nowadays, teams are run by satellite teams, and there aren't the factory teams that used to be.
Yeah.
However, back in the day, it was all factory teams. There weren't the individual sponsored teams. So it would take drawing all kinds of graphs in order to do it. And in fact, when you go back over time, Husqvarna actually, the fact they're coming back now, Husqvarna come back from all the times sort of in the sort of 60s and 70s, there was an awful lot of Husqvarnas there. But then, there's CZs in there all through the time on the late 60s, early 70s. Then it starts going to Suzuki's and Yamahas and whatever. So it would be difficult to. Is it the same team if it's Suzuki all the way through? It's not, because now it's because
they only base the manufacturer title on the factory teams, don't they?
Yeah. So it's a bit tricky one to do.
But then again, it's only the factory team.
If you are interested to look at it, Wikipedia actually has got a really
I'll put the address at the bottom.
Really good list of every manufacturer that every winner since the start of the Motocross Championships, the amount of championships there, the amount of championships they've won. So the information is all there, really, really quite clear. But I haven't actually drawn my pie charts and bar charts in order to... I was almost tempted, actually. I'm a little bit nerdy like that. I could easily have drawn a pictorial pie chart. And here, and you see Sector 1 for Suzuki. Sector 2.
Could have put it on the screen.
Yeah, I'm not going to, though.
No.
I don't know where I should stop.
So there you go, Fred. Good question. And we like questions like that. So just keep firing those questions over for next week. So basically, if it was based on this season, we'd say KTM. If you look at the whole thing, go and look at yourself and work it all out, because there's a lot of manufacturers over the years.
But there will be, if you do come up with a bar chart, I think there's some sort of prize. If there's a bar chart against the manufacturer, if you can convert what's on here, on the Wikipedia page.
If you convert that to a proper graph and everything else, we'll send you a T-shirt, whoever it is.
Absolutely.
Fred. Yeah. Okay, last question. This is from Brit Fan Williams. It's like it sounds like a singer, doesn't it? Country and Western singer. Brit Fan Williams, do you think having Grand Prix overseas at the start and the end of the season will affect the following at Euro GPs? Well, if it's at the end, it wouldn't affect the GPs because we've got Brazil and Mexico at the end. So it doesn't affect too much there.
I don't think the effect actually will be there. I think people, because the motocross doesn't come very often to these countries, I think people will, are going to go along to it. The ones at the end of the season, well, if Cairoli continues the way he is, he tends to wrap it up before the end of the season anyway. Yeah. I think it's certainly difficult if the final ones in a series don't get seen by many people.
Yeah.
That's not going to be great. So I think they're off to, is it Brazil they're off to at the end of the season?
Brazil and Mexico, yeah.
Yeah. It seems likely. Well, Brazil gets reasonable numbers. I'm not sure about the Mexico one. It'd be unfortunate if the championship goes down to the wire, and that going down to the wire isn't actually witnessed by many people at the track.
I think the Brazil want to be. It's not a bad turnout to be honest, because the entry fee is pretty low.
Yeah,
and it's at the theme park, so people can.
You just have to hope they don't get rain again this year.
Yeah, but it don't affect the Euro rounds, that's for sure.
I don't think so. I think when we went through the list of all the various tracks that are on there, people want to go along to see them. They're getting good numbers on there.
There's very, very few Euro fans I know that will travel across to Brazil and Mexico. So it's bloody expensive. You'd have to be a proper fan to do that.
Well, it's a long way.
There's a lot of to be honest with you, when it is mostly industry people that will go.
I went to Mexico last year, and you're virtually 24.
Well, you were on holiday anyway.
Yeah, 24 hours door to door to actually get to where we were going in Mexico, and then you've got to cope with the jet lag over there and the cost. Well, I guess you're looking about £750 on flights to get there,
that's a lot of cash.
And then your accommodation, and then your tickets and things like that. So you've got to be super fan to go there, or if you go for a holiday, then that's cool. But Mexico is an interesting country to go to, but. Not many people are likely to do that.
And it's like you say, people. There's the way I see it, the Euro, especially like in Britain and Holland and Belgium and stuff like that. The guys are planning all year for that round.
Yeah.
The fans there, so they make the most of it, and that's why you see them there for the 3 or 4 days.
For Valkyrie,
like there's no tomorrow.
In a way. Qatar and Thailand, to my mind, are almost like the pre-season internationals, like Montava. Which one's it? Mantova and Valence. Yeah. You almost see them like that. They'd be nice to go along to, but you don't go along to. And almost the championship proper starts when the first one is in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so that's the answer, Win. To be honest, I don't think it affect the following. If you're on about fans, it's not going to affect the fans at all. To be honest with you, but it'll be interesting to see on the other take of it, the riders at the end of the year, how many are in Mexico and Brazil, because they've already been to Brazil, Qatar, and Thailand, and all of a sudden they've got to go back.
Yeah, I mean, for sure it's expensive, and unless your places are particularly good and you're heading for a good finish, then you're probably not going to spend all that money to get to those two at the end.
No.
There will be a drop-off on teams for those one at the end of the season that they probably don't get. Well, they won't get as much in the mid-season, but towards the end, you're thinking like, well, we're on for a 12th place finish, and we might get 11th if we go over there, but it's going to cost us 10 grand.
Who do you think was the best question? Because the best question to win a copy of our WFO. We found one in the office, actually. Which you can't get anywhere else.
Well, I'd have to say the technical question is probably the best question. I think realistically, because
So that was
first guy, James.
James.
Yep. I think it's your best question because it relates to security. We're all concerned about security of dirt bikes, and riding and that sort of thing.
Okay, James, we'll send you a T-shirt and DVD and some stickers. So congrats.
Good work.
For that.
Thanks for the input.
Yeah, and thanks to the other guys for questions and keep sending them in. It's a shame we can't send more T-shirts, but that's just we can't do that. But yeah, so
catch up with Ray at the show. He's ever so soft if confronted, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. So more questions next week. We'll put a link up again sometime in the next couple of days, and just add your questions, and you could win a T-shirt. And we've actually still got a couple of DVDs still there, so we'll give them away each week as well, and whatever stuff we get. That's a good way actually to end this part of the show. We'll go to.
Is that a DJ link you've just done
That's
there?
a DJ link. Hey.
Fantastic.
Hey, we're not DJs. We're
VJs.
VJ. Is it VJs?
Yeah. Now, wasn't Paul King the first VJ? Him out of King. Remember Paul
with the big lips?
No, that was Pete Burns.
Oh right.
No, Paul King.
No.
Oh, you must have known King at the time. I modelled myself on him in the 80s.
What, Funny Quiff?
Oh yeah, it was like mullets were in then.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's end this part of the show, and we'll go to the new movie trailer. Which, if you're a bike fan, off-road, road, or whatever, just a general bike fan, I think this is going to be a crack of a documentary type scenario of a film.
Yeah.
And it's called We Ride, or White. No, what?
It's not called We Ride at all. He's got it written in front of him. You haven't got your specs on, have you?
No, can't see a bloody thing.
I do apologise. Should have gone to Specsavers. We'll come across that.
Why We Ride.
Thank you so much.
It's a bombardment of the senses. Everything goes into slow motion. It's passion.
This is the thing that makes me happy.
It becomes part of your life. It gets in your blood.
It's just the best feeling in the world. It's so much fun to ride a motorcycle.
It is a love affair like no other. There's a freedom about it.
Once you try it, if you like it, you'll never leave it.
It's you and your motorcycle. That's it.
Motorcycles literally were bicycles that somebody finally came up with the idea of putting an engine in it.
Of course, if you got an engine in a motorcycle, the next thing is you got to start racing it.
Some of the greatest riders of all time.
They were badass. They were real men. Some people have it inside. It's a seed. And if you ever put the water on it and you feel the sensation, the seed is sprouted, and it doesn't die till the day you take your last breath.
I was probably 6 years old and I saw a mini bike, and I was hooked.
The first time I rode, I just felt like I could do anything.
How do you stop it? How do you stop it?
I was so excited to know that I was going to ride my bike the next day, and I still feel that today, every day.
I think it's like trying to learn how to play a violin. It's just hideous, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I know how to ride this thing now.
Motorcycles have put me in touch with wonderful people. As a result of that, I have an elevated idea about how good everybody in the world is.
Motorcycles and family, they just go together.
I totally see myself teaching my kids if I have any, which I do want some.
It's
It's my release. It's my medicine in this crazy world.
I cannot tell you the wonderful feeling of being on that machine.
I ride because there's nothing like it in the world. And I could never imagine not doing it.
Don't be scared. It's fun. I'll cheer you on.
Yeah, that trailer is really good.
That's good. Now you'll notice, Mr. Just
I've got my glasses back. I can actually see now.
After that awful moment when he couldn't see the screen in front of him. Years of self-abuse have taken their toll, haven't they, really? I mean, there was Danny Magoo Chandler. You're Ray Magoo Chus, but you're like Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo, yeah. Jesus.
I mean, we're here. Oh, there you go.
No, but that was a good trailer, that.
Yeah.
I think if you're into bikes, and it's great they've included off-road as well, motocross and some other stuff as well. So
yeah, there's some good stuff. I mean, on any Sunday, it's a classic one to see if you haven't seen that one with Steve McQueen in, and particularly sort of current, I suppose, with the Husqvarna returning to it all, and he liked his Husqvarnas, did McQueen?
Yeah, so,
definitely. You can't beat a bit of biking video, really.
He was the man.
And BMX Bandits, that's always a favourite.
Was that one with the monkey?
I think we had this conversation before. I don't recall a monkey in it, to be honest.
There was a motocross film with a monkey riding a bike.
That could be it.
If anyone remembers the name of that film, because I can't remember it, but there was a monkey riding a little Yamaha YZ80. Let us know.
It wasn't just somebody, quite a hairy kid, was it? No. You're not being offensive, are you? Somebody with some congenital problem.
Well, like those wolf boys from Brazil. Oh, dear. Oh,
apologies if that wasn't a monkey, just in case.
Apologies to the wolf boys as well.
As we speak, people are Googling monkey on a motorbike.
Oh, and Google wolf boys from Brazil. Did they have a shave? Didn't they have somebody shave them? Am I dreaming this? But I swear.
Are we on monkeys now, or the wolf boys?
The wolf boys.
You can't go shaving monkeys. They look awful.
A bold monkey. Anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about, sport and motocross and stuff. Okay, this week, the Dirt Bike Show.
Yep.
In Stoneleigh. Fantastic.
Up there on Thursday. You're going, what, Wednesday night, are you?
No, Wednesday morning. Set up the MOTO stand with the lovely Sarah and and Dan. I'm trying to think of a word for Dan.
Not so lovely.
Dan.
Handsome Dan. Please wear a T-shirt saying "Handsome Dan" on that for Dan, please. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I think I'm going to knock everything down over it. This Axo helmet is
at least
suffering.
The stand's actually staying up together.
It is quite.
Not the stand, the set.
Yeah. Well, it's the fall down we put up rather than Elliot Banks Brown.
Yeah, Elliot Banks Brown.
Ham-fisted clot.
He was probably thinking about soaping people up in the River Thames.
Quite possibly, yes. Well, that's why he had his goggles on, stop soap going in his eyes.
Yeah. Anyway, the Dirt Bike Show. Yes. I got to say, I've been going for forever and a day, and I do enjoy it. It's good.
It's good. It changes over the years, inevitably. And there are the brigade who say, "Oh, it's always better back in the day when it was in Bristol in the exhibition set, and it was -20."
I can remember going to Bristol, the show at Bristol, and there used to be a ski ramp thing at the back. Can you remember that?
No, I recall there was a big ramp to get everything upstairs.
No, there was a ski. They put a ski run at the back. It was only about 20 foot high.
But that wasn't the ski show, was it?
No, that was it was like so on, and I can remember, and it was so small. Back then it was great, but things have moved on again.
I recall there was a sort of like a bike riding simulator on it, and it was a really, really sort of primitive version of it. It had a CL125 Elsinore on it, attached to these hydraulic rams. You sat on it, and this thing just ratcheted from side to side, jumped up and down. These people, like, no health and safety involved whatsoever. There was just like hydraulic rams everywhere, bits of sharp metal, nothing like riding a bike whatsoever, apart from the fact it was painful. So, but it's been in Stoneleigh so long, and it's kind of marks the end of the season.
I think it's just a nice end to the season. There's lots going on. Obviously, our stand, biggest and best stand there.
It's one thing that's quite noticeable on it, that there are less and less of the stands doing the tools and stuff. Now, I wonder myself whether the onset of the four-strokes has meant that people do less mechanics on their bikes. I wonder whether the fact that you can't do an awful lot unless you know the stuff. And I think actually, I think that has contributed to the fact that maybe young riders don't know so much about what goes inside the engine. When you used to strip down a two-stroke with your dad, and this is apologies because this is a bit jumpers for goalposts, things were better back in the day, but two strokes are easier to work on, and you are likely to take it apart. So maybe if there's a resurgence of two strokes, it may be a resurgence of actually lads and girls knowing how an engine works and being able to take them apart themselves, because I wouldn't touch a four-stroke myself. I wouldn't start taking, because I know I put it back together and I'd press the button and there'd be a whirring, a clicking, and I'd be £600 worse off. I just know it would happen. And they are more complicated and harder to do, but it's noticeable. There's nobody selling tools and stuff.
I don't know how you do, but has anyone else fallen asleep? Because I fell asleep like 10 minutes ago after we want to start this part of the
Try to introduce just a little bit of
we were talking about the show, how exciting it is, and you just went off on one about bloody tools.
Sorry. Go on then. Go on. What's your point? What's your point?
What are we expecting at the show this year? All the brands are there. The only brand that's not there, and it's a shame, because I spoke to the guys at the show today, and the reason being, Husqvarna are not there because they're doing their world...
they're not there.
I know, no. They're doing their world release in EICMA in Milan.
So they're not going to bring the most talked about bikes of the season.
No.
Aren't going to be there.
No.
That is a PR.
They may surprise people and have one there, but as far as we're concerned, they're going to be at EICMA, which is a shame, really.
I think that's an awful mistake. I think realistically for the UK market, people aren't going to want to see those bikes. I think an awful lot of people want to go along just to see those bikes.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a shame. But all the rest of the brands are there. Yamaha, KTM, Suzuki, Kawasaki, all in different forms.
Do you think Husqvarna will still be there? Because there's a 2014 range,
I think
isn't
they
there?
probably will be. Because they got a massive, they've already got their stand from years gone by.
And their bikes are there to sell. You can pick up Husqvarnas and they're good bikes.
Yeah, really good. As I said, the bikes are there, the brands. We've got, obviously, if you're looking for kit, Fox and 4 are there, as well as other brands as well. But the main stands there will be Fox and 4.
Fox's stand is always lovely, isn't it, really?
Yeah. And the Madison stand, mine. They are a lot in there as well with the 4.
You just wander around and it's all really beautifully presented. Yeah. You almost feel, it's a bit like Benetton used to be back in the day. You always feel a bit bad about actually sort of taking something down and touching anything. But, you're going to be able to do it.
Look out for, I've done a piece online about, I'll put it online in the next day or so, and that's... the 8 things to look forward to. Is some sort of funny things on there I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I will say, one of the funniest things is when, it's all part of the show, it's when people turn up, sit on the bikes, ask loads of random questions to the salesperson.
Yeah.
And then just keep sitting on the bikes, touching and squeezing stuff. And
pull in the clutch, twist the throttle, and bounce it up and down.
Keep doing it, because that's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah. That's a total test of motocross. You can know an awful lot about it. You can almost test between brands. You can choose which one you're having by just going, yeah, that's it. Yeah. And you think, well...
I love it. I think that's brilliant.
It's so bizarre. They're just bound to have suspension. The clutch is bound to work, and the throttle's bound to work.
But you can actually feel the suspension on the bikes there, because they don't go down, because you've got those stands, haven't they, that are rigid.
No, they're only rigid on the wheels. They're attached to the spindles. They go up and down on the suspension.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I thought they were locked in place.
Yeah, the wheels are attached to the floor by the spindles, but the suspension still goes up and down.
Oh, there you go. Go and have a play on the bikes. We love it.
Yeah. And I'll ask the reps inane questions.
Yeah, really strange.
How fast does it go, mister?
How many power bands has it got?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
does this have a power band?
Yeah.
How fast does it go?
Ask I like, if you do, please take a picture or do a little sneaky little Instagram video and send it to us, because they're brilliant.
They're going to hate you for that.
They are. Who cares? At least we get people to the show and...
They also do that, taking a wheel up... Do they do that? Taking a wheel out challenge?
It's the Michelin challenge, isn't it, this year? Where the fastest person changed the wheel.
Yeah, now I was thinking about doing that. My wife runs a youth club, and we're thinking of doing that. I just worried that actually they might change and I'd have no wheel
There's
left.
some guys who do it real quick, like Hugglebridge and people like that.
Yeah,
they change real quick.
You'd think probably
quicker than the mechanics.
You think the enduro riders would be quite good at that, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
flinging them in and
possibly. But and also the live action arena this year is stacked with, because we had a conversation with the guys the end of last year, and it was basically saying what's missing from the show, and the missing from the show really the last couple of years has been the sort of live action arena again.
Yeah.
So they're bringing,
and the random stuff's quite
good. They're bringing back Supercross, mini bike Supercross on the Saturday and Sunday, and at the moment, speaking to the guys, as I said, there's over 100 riders signed up for it.
Wow,
that's going to be amazing. Saturday and Sunday.
Is there going to be an industry entry? Because I think Mikey had to go one year.
Mikey had to go one year. Yeah. Ben?
Yeah, well,
I'd say the person to do it is Tom.
You reckon?
Tom, our advertising manager, he loves it. He wins everything. He won the company go-karting. He was second at the GP, the nation's lawnmower race.
I came second in my heat.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you not make the final?
I was only asked one. I was so terrified by those bikes that we didn't really cover much about that lawnmower racing. But my bike had Akrapovic exhaust on it. It was frightening.
Was it?
Ben nearly turned his over, didn't he?
Yeah. There's a few crashes, weren't there?
Yeah. No, but going back to the bike show, remember one year there was that Hungarian guy who was doing a stunt show on an old MZ.
Yeah.
And he was just absolutely mad. Halfway through, he'd take
There's
a
a stunt
spanner
show
to
by
it.
Lou Bowers, the road bike guy, doing the spins and wheelies and
skids and wheelies.
Skids and wheelies.
Yeah,
it's
that's
pretty cool. Oh, I've got to say, you've got to be, because it's a fairly small area.
And there's a lot of metal.
You get that wrong, that's going to be a lot of mess.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's a skillful guy. And there's, what else is there? There's Danny Butler, who's doing the mountain bike stuff again, hopping and...
That's impressive. I mean, you see him doing that, and they do those hops sideways, don't they? He was going about 4 foot up, sideways. There's no actual
Colley.
use for that.
Steve
really.
Colley as well, doing his trial bike craziness.
Yeah,
he's really good. But yeah, so there is plenty to see and do. There's no climbing wall this year, which really it's been there for the last few years, and it's a bit. Yeah, there's been a few people on it, but
it's difficult to see the link. To
I don't see any link. So it's nice to have all these other bike-related things back.
Yeah.
Your Steve Colley stunt show, the Supercross for the mini bikes, Danny Butler on the MTB. That's really good because obviously doing it with no engine is pretty clever. And there's a couple of other things as well. And
I think the vintage moto jumble stuff that is always worth looking around because there's some stuff there you think. Yeah, I could actually do that. There's other stuff you think. I mean, funny enough, down the dirt bike, the beach race, there were some old Husqvarnas for sale there on a trailer, and it just looked like they'd been pulled out of a hedge or something. But for somebody, they're going to wander around that show, and somewhere in the midst of old plastics from KXs from the 80s or something like that, they're going to find a bit which enables them to finish their project. But you have a wander around there because it's just interesting, just what's still out there and what people will sell and what people are buying. You'll see people beaming as they're walking around with a side panel from a RM100C from back in 1980 or something along those lines. Worthwhile. We'll do a bit. I think we can plan to do a little bit of filming.
We're going to do
there.
Our show for next week is going to be based from the dirt bike show. So we're going to have lots of. We'll probably have a bit of fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And we're going to do that. And
we're see you in an air filter hat myself.
Yeah,
I think from a KX 500.
You could even see me riding a bike. Imagine that.
Can you do the mini bike challenge? Yeah. Man, we'll cancel the show for next week. Just Ray riding around a mini bike. We could watch that for an hour. That's going to be comedy.
Flipping and whipping it up all over the shop.
Not in the slightest. you go 10 foot, burn your leg on the exhaust, and cry off.
Injured. I'm injured.
Oh, it really hurts.
I need soaping up.
That's staying with it. Leave the soaping bit alone, all right?
But yeah, so we're going to film the show from the actual dirt bike show. Also, over the few days, we'll have video interviews with riders and industry people and just general bits of looking at products and stuff. But the show itself will be next week's show will be from the dirt bike show. As I said, it should be fun. Also, our stand, our photo booth is back, where you put your face through the big cover.
Yep.
Take your picture.
Really popular that last year.
Really
Everybody liked doing it.
There was hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds.
A lot of people nearly pushing the thing over, leading like.
And there's a lovely prize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, you need to tag your pictures on Facebook. But if you don't, you just give your email address, and the person we pull out the hat.
The name. We're not putting any people in hats, are we?
We're going to put a person in the hat. Come out!
I'm stuck in this hat. The person's name we pull out of the hat in a random, very fair draw. Terms and conditions on the website.
Yeah. Basically, we'll win a full depth exhaust for their bike.
Nice.
That's a nice prize.
Great stuff.
Thanks for depth for that. That's much appreciated. But yeah, so when you see, we're in Hall 2B11, normal place. You can't miss us. We're on the corner.
Yeah, but when we go between the two halls.
Yeah, exactly. So come and have your picture taken on the photo booth. And we'll upload all the images anyway to Facebook, so you can go in and take them and do whatever you want and tag them and everything else. But the person's name we pull out the sack.
It's a sack now, is it?
It's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be Big Hat.
Yeah, Big Hat.
What are we writing their names on?
Oh, they got to write it themselves.
Oh, right, okay.
On a piece of paper.
Now, we're going to do the corporate bit on the subscriptions as well, because the subscriptions are a lot of the things.
We always have a good deal on at the show, and that's for people who come back, because we got a lot of people come back to renew from each year, and also people looking to take a subscription up. So this year is, you've got, offer one is 2 hoodies or 2 T-shirts. It's up to you what you want to do.
Yep.
And, or is it one hoodie? No, it's...
You've got your glasses on.
I can't see it, but hang on.
It's in front of you, man. Okay.
So let me get this right. So it's either offer 1 is a free hoodie and your magazines, or offer 2 is 2 T-shirts.
That sounds a bit better. Yeah.
I couldn't see then. I was looking. I was like,
no. Subscription is 29 quid.
Yeah.
And that if you're buying it every month, that's $3.20, $3.40, whatever it is a month. It obviously works out cheaper than that anyway. So even if you just got
save 16 quid a year.
If you just got the magazine on its own, then your quid's in anyway. But now we're giving you either a hoodie or 2 T-shirts for it. So pop along, do the subscription there. There'll probably be cans of Monster and stuff like that, and some stickers and stuff like that.
Stickers, yeah, we got stickers, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
that's the show sort of preview. It's going to be, I think it's going to be really good this year. It's definitely, it looks bigger on the floor plan. We'll have a look on the site, and we've put the floor plan up so you can print that off if you want, and so you know where you're going.
Yeah. New promoters,
and also Thursday. It's half price Thursday because of the school holidays.
Yeah.
So if you can't make it Saturday and Sunday, and you want to save some money, come on the Thursday. It's only £7.50.
Yeah. Come with your money and expect to get the bargains, because there are the bargains on there.
Yeah, definitely.
You tend to see each year there's always one thing that swings in with your bargain. It's either the stands they're going out with, or tyres, or one year it was those big VP fuel cans, wasn't it? They really wandered around with those things. So, but yeah, come along and spend your money, because it's the smaller traders that come along. They rely on your trade there, place the orders, try the kit. Everybody's got to support it to keep it going.
Yeah, it's a good show.
It's a good part of the part thing.
You speak to any of the stand holders there, and they like people going up to them, chatting to them about their products and stuff. So if you've got any questions, go up to the guys. They're always there to answer. That's what they're there for. And hopefully you'll end up buying something of theirs.
Yeah,
for sure.
Pop in and say hello.
We mentioned at the beginning of the show we're doing an editor's dinner. Basically, it's a new thing we've got.
This is the one you told me I'm not invited to.
We might be. Can you wear a dicky bow so we can take
it out? Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. So I
could put an earpiece in. I could do security on the door.
That's
fine. I've got an SIA license. I might still have an SIA license.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
Well, you were a bouncer, were you?
Well, I was in charge of the bouncers. I had an SIA supervisor's license.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, you can do that. Anyway, editor's dinner. We've invited some big industry players to our dinner, and the British Championships, British champions.
It does sound a bit like the ambassador's reception.
It will be,
and there'll be a triangle of Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah,
I can do that. I can carry those around.
You could. So it's really nice. It's really nice for especially the British champions, Elliot and Christian. It's good for those guys. And and also straight after that on Friday is our annual Moto party for pretty much industry people. Really
fantastic.
Yeah, it seems to get more rowdy and busier every year.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just you've got to go. To appreciate it. So if you're a stand holder at the show, please come and see us on our stand, and we'll give you some tickets for all your staff and stuff like that.
Yeah. But we may check that you actually are a stand holder, so don't come along and say,
come
oh yeah, I've got the tire stand round the corner, can I have 15 tickets for my mates? And if you do ask for tickets, don't come back again, and don't ask for too many.
No. We're actually only going to give out 4 max to people who come to the stand and asked.
We got riders last year coming out saying, can I have 20 tickets?
20 tickets, it's just insane.
It's just like, what? Yeah. No, it's meant to be a lot of people to go, not just you and mates. So.
And believe me, already in the last 2 to 3 days, I've probably had requests for tickets for probably 100 people. So, when I say no, then it's no.
Because we're not holding at the NEC. It is a fairly small club. It's a nice club down there.
It's a nice club. Yeah, it's real nice. One in Leamington Spa. We're not going to say where it is because everyone will turn up. But so normally I think we normally get a lot of people there, riders, and Hurlings could be there, and obviously the British champions. And Diana Dahlgren's not here this year. She did send a message.
I hope she was going to do some of that dancing that was on that video.
Twerking. Oh, I'll do that instead.
I've got a bit of sick in my throat now. Oh, God. Pictures with words.
Oh, no. And then he up behind souping himself up.
That's the most horrid image I think you could ever have said.
Oh, you gotta have a laugh, haven't you? That's the thing. We do enjoy a bit of a joke.
I shan't sleep now.
Nightmares forever. Sorry, if anyone's watching and you do suffer from nightmares, you need to forward that bit. Too late.
God. Pictures with words.
Anyway, that's the show. All done.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, good show.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like the weather is picking up outside. I think I'll be battling, tacking sideways home on the bike.
Well, I went for a run yesterday morning, Sunday morning, and the wind was so bad yesterday morning. When I was running
hard work,
it was hard. But when I went round the other side of the field, and
the
wind was behind me, it was lovely.
Did you hold your jacket out?
Yes, floating along. But the annoying, I did put on my Facebook actually, really observations what I do. And the really annoying thing is when these old people pass you, like if you're stood still. And I'm really trying my hardest.
And they're walking the dog. They're not even jogging.
Why are you walking funny? I'm running.
They've got an asthmatic pug on a lead and they walk past you. Easy now. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, so that really annoys you. So if you're old, don't run past me and make me look stupid.
No.
Or what I did yesterday, it was quite embarrassing. It was busy out there. Everyone must have had the same thought. Now, let's go running before the storm.
Yeah.
So I went running. I was going one way, and there's 4 or 5 student girls running towards me, and I'm thinking, oh, God.
You sure they weren't running away?
And what did I do?
What?
Trip.
Smooth.
Stumble. Thankfully, I didn't go down, but I wish I did because I would have just stayed there. And said, oh, my ankle, I broke my ankle. But I just
rephrase that. So the girls went by and you didn't go down. You're there in your Dunlop green flashes with a headband on like McEnroe. All right, ladies, how you doing?
Oh,
I think if you'd done that, you should just lying on the floor, straight in the mud. I'm fine. Move on.
But yeah, that wasn't good. And also, my earphones fell out. And it went into the mud, and it took me 10 minutes to get the mud out of the earphones.
I bet they thought you had a hearing aid on.
But yeah, so when you go running, just try and be cool as possible. But like me.
I think we probably need to get a video of Ray running in his full 80s kit.
Oh dear! Actually, no. I went out this morning and bought some new kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
spent
not lycra.
No,
we're going back to the twerking again. I think. Keep it loose, not tight.
Anyway, we're gonna go now because we're gonna.
You've got tears running out your eye there.
But it's all fun. I enjoy the show. We do because and hopefully anything as we say at the beginning with the questions and stuff, fire them over. And we'll try our best. Even they were quite difficult questions, to be honest.
I think they were good.
They were good.
It's nice to get them in advance so we get a chance to get the answer out of them because they do need a bit of looking into. But we don't mind the daft ones, not the sweary ones. From
the sweary one, I don't understand.
Potty Mouth Jeff, but
what was the sweary one was about? It was swearing non-stop.
Well, there's a place for swearing, but maybe not on a. Please, can we have a question?
But all right. Until next week, as I said, special show from the Dirt Bike Show this for next week. And if you're at the show, please come up and have a chat with us, and we love all that. So we'll see you at the show.
Bye.